Hello, everybody. We are the Latin American and the Caribbean group, and we will present a climate change perception study in which we will show you what people from different regions around the world think about drivers, impacts, and consequences of climate change. Then compare the answers with real data. For the development of this study, we have generated a survey with six questions, from which 4 are comparable with real data, and 2 are aimed to collect some extra information. The survey has been shared with many people as possible. 160 people has answered, including many of you, for which we are very grateful. Now we will show you the tool we have used with the worldwide results. How is the world's perception about climate change and its different dimensions?
Survey 123 is a form-centric file data collection solution. You can collect data only with a link, a QR code, or offline from the app. Data captured in the file is immediately available to you in the Survey 123 for visualization and analysis. Here, you can play with the base map and download the data in the format that you need. The Analysis tab will help you to understand trends in your data. Charts of different types will help you to reveal patterns. You can even create maps, word clouds, and if you like, a pie charts. The Overview tab will tell you how many surveys have been submitted, when, and by whom.
This is our first question, and the results are almost unanimous. From 160 people, 151 perceives climate change has changed during the last 15 years, with only 2 in disagreement and 7 that doesn't know. Now it's time to divide the results by region. Climate change drivers and impacts won't be the same all around the world. Is people really aware of how climate change is affecting their regions and what activities are more responsible for greenhouse gases emissions? We have collected data from various sources to see how right or wrong people are about this. Starting with question 1, which sector is mainly responsible for greenhouse gases emissions in your country? Most people in Latin America and Europe see industry as one of the main climate change drivers, similar to agriculture and land use change and energy and transportation. In Africa and the Middle East, people seem to be overestimating the role of industry and underestimating the role of energy and transportation, same as in Asia. That is because, in reality, industry is only responsible for less than 9% of the greenhouse gases emissions in these regions, while the energy sector represents more than half of emissions in Africa and the Middle East, and more than 2/3 in Asia and Europe, while in Latin America, industry represents less than 5%, being agriculture and land use responsible for almost half of the emissions.
Hazardous was taken against people's perception of rising temperature rise, drought, intense precipitation, drought and sea level. Others, which includes cyclone, hurricane, locust that feeds on crops, sand, and dust from storms. Of this, they were ranked, and drought and others were number 1. Drought, rise in temperature, and others were number 2. Lastly, we had number 3, which was storm and sea level rise and drought. On the other hand, real data indicated that drought is the main hazard, followed by intense precipitation, and storm and sea level rise is the least with regards to the hazards. Vulnerability data was taken against social inequality, poverty, conflict, economic and environmental, poor environmental policies, lack of environmental awareness. Of this, conflict, economic and environmental were the main reasons. This is mostly prevalent in Europe when compared to the other regions. Overall, poor environmental policies were the second when aggregated and ranked, followed by poverty, and alongside poverty is social inequality. Poor environmental policies were at the bottom. That's it.
After knowing the main vulnerability and hazard in each region, we ask about the real impacts people perceive they are suffering nowadays because of climate change. Remember that impacts are the real risks that humanity and nature are facing today because of the combination of hazard, exposure, and vulnerability. These are producing different types of impacts depending on each region and countries. As you can see in Europe, they talk about increasing temperature as their main impact, but in Asia, Africa, and South America, they think it's loss of biodiversity. Africa is also concerned about food security And in Asia and South America, they also fought water stress. Now we can see the real data, and people were right. In South America, the main impact is loss of biodiversity, followed by desertification and erosion. In Africa, food security is one of the top 3 main risks, and in Asia, we can see water stress.
Yes, climate change is real, and our short survey shows that people around the world are feeling the effects of climate change. As citizens of our planet, we must act now and incorporate sustainability in our everyday life. One of our main results shows that all over the world, people are trying to do something to fight against climate change. Recycling, consuming less, and diet choice were the main activities reported. The results differ by region. For example, in South America, the answers reveal that the main actions to mitigate climate change are recycling. In Europe, diet choices is the main activity. In Asia and Africa and Middle East, the main action is tree planting or support institutions to plant a tree. This last action is very important and interesting because it demonstrates that some people want to act beyond ordinary choices. We must be aware that we are responsible for our own activities, choices, and that it's in our hands to make decisions for a better planet. Together, we are stronger and we need to act now. This is our presentation. Thank you very much. Gracias. Obrigada. Our reference